Hey, what's up guys? Coyote here. And I felt compelled to share my thoughts about the new changes that Battleground queue is going to be going through. And I say new changes extremely loosely, since they are simply reverting the queue back to the way it was 4 months ago. So if you haven't heard, Deathmatch Queue is no longer going to be a thing. Solo random and group random are going to be the only options. And at this point, it just feels like we're spinning our wheels on these changes on the Battleground queue itself. Because initially, back in September, population was dismally low because objective players were leaving due to every match essentially being turned into a death match, because that's what some of the players wanted to be there for. So what did Sauce do? They gave them a deathmatch queue to play in. They split deathmatch off. They gave it their own thing. Well, not exactly, because they left deathmatch in the random queue. One of the most bizarre decisions I feel I've ever seen, because that essentially turned Battlegrounds into a full deathmatch queue. Objectives are extremely hard to come across now. I would have to say 90 to 95% of Battlegrounds I get are deathmatch. And I regularly play Battlegrounds. Again, it's part of why I was compelled to make this video. I probably play in 3 to 5 a day. I go into Cyrodiil some days instead, but sometimes the lag gets to me. Sometimes I just want to queue up on doing other things in real life and can't fully focus on it, but I can take 8 minutes, 10 minutes here or there and go through a Battleground. But basically, when they included it in the random, when they included deathmatch in the random queue as well, they've shunned, ignored, and basically cut off anybody that loved the objective modes from Battlegrounds. I've really missed those games, and I also want my damn achievements in those games as well. It was a huge mistake, as having deathmatch in the random was just a big surprise for everyone, I feel like. Initially, when the change was implemented, there was a big population spike. There were a bunch of people that wanted to get back into having everybody there for a Chaos Ball match, everybody there for a Crazy King match, because all of the deathmatch people were getting what they wanted, so why couldn't the objective people get what they wanted? Instead, no. They were shunned, they got wrecked in endless death matches. They found out how long it took to actually get one of the game modes that they loved and have dipped from Battlegrounds for good. I doubt very few would come back unless they got perfectly what they wanted. And so population remains extremely low, just as it was when we started this test, based on the form of the queue that they are now reverting to again. They went the laziest, crappiest route with such a lack of analysis and implemented one of the silliest solutions ever seen. So now the big question, right? Will this be the death of Battlegrounds, or maybe lead to the death of Battlegrounds? Leading, maybe, possibly, but is it going to be the death right away? No, it's not. Look, there's a lot of people that love BGs that are still going to be there. I was queuing several times, several evenings a week before. I'll still be doing it as long as I have my ESO Plus at least. But the issue is that there's this big chunk of objective players that are permanently gone with zero hope, zero incentive to get back into the queue. They know that the deathmatch players will continue on as they were, focusing to hunt everyone in every single mode. Nobody's going to go back to that queue that they didn't like to begin with for that exact reason. And then you add in that Gina is saying that there are going to be no changes to the queue format in the foreseeable future. So there's no hope that it's going to get switched back. There's no hope that there's going to be a combined objective queue. There's no hope for any innovation. There's no hope for anything better. And there's no hope for some people to get any enjoyment out of Battlegrounds. Instead, we get, we have no sympathy for PvPers because we're working on it. Well, what the hell are you working on? Because it obviously isn't the queue. It isn't making sure their consumers are happy with it. It isn't reaching out to them, asking if they're happy with it or what they could do to make them happy with it. They're not working on Cyrodiil because lag's only getting worse. Let's face it, IC's been given up on for a long time. Beyond the queue, and I guess some monster helms in IC that were obtainable in a single night, there has been no additions to PvP content in my time playing ESO. But now, Imperial City is pretty much dead. Ravenwatch is pretty much dead since the no proc change, at least on PlayStation. I hear there's a few holdouts on PC still, but that was another nonsensical change to improve the lag, but didn't improve the lag. It just seems so out there. But now they're pushing Battlegrounds further and further away, and possibly for good. They're throwing their hands up with this exasperated, we tried PvPers. What do you want from us? To actually put in some effort? And a smug belittlement. Simply put, I think everybody just wants a choice in how they enjoy their PvP experience. It doesn't matter the form they want to partake in. We get this mocking, belittling attitude, a queue reverting to a form that didn't work in the first place. Nobody really got to enjoy it. And worst of all, they put in the least amount of effort. At best, they didn't reach out. They didn't innovate a solution. They didn't even have a proper analysis. They didn't even see the simple solution of removing Deathmatch from the random queue. And if they can't see such a simple, obvious change to at least test, as this has been a test for the last 3 months, I personally thought this was just going to be the way it was from here out. But if they can't see that simple solution, what improvement, what innovation are we going to see that they're working on? Whatever the hell that lip service means. Anyway, thank you all for listening to me rant about the current state of Battlegrounds. To be clear, I really do enjoy ESO and the play and the combat and the number of options and sets and skills that you can try and implement, and I wish they just had put a little bit of that thought and variety into their queue format. If you've made it this far, please don't forget to like and subscribe. As well, include your opinion and tell me what you're thinking in the comments. How would you like to see Battlegrounds improved? what ways can it change that we all get to enjoy the games that would bolster up the population and just have a much better time for everybody. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you all have a good night now.